everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Getting Stuff Painted, because we're just covering one game today, and it is my progress thus far on getting the miniatures painted for Warhammer Quest Cursed City. Now the box comes with 60 miniatures. There obviously is not 60 miniatures in front of you. I think it's like 25, 26 done. So almost half, getting there. You technically don't need literally everything painted, like you don't need all the heroes painted unless you immediately like lose 1 to 3 of them in the first mission. So you can save a little bit of time there. You also don't need every single mysterious objective painted, because I think the box comes with like 12 of them, and at most, I think from a cursory glance of the book, you only really need like 6 at most, maybe. So there is some corners you can cut, and you start the game at level 0, so you're not going to be fighting tons and tons of massive squads. It's mostly like 1 to 2, 1 to 3. So trying to get around that. With what I have here, I think I'm ready to hopefully be able to do like a level 0 mission, maybe a level 1 mission afterwards. But obviously still chipping away at the rest of the box. But doing a special on the stuff we have painted here with contrast paint. So far, just going to show them off to you. I'm going to readjust the camera in a second because we'll have to do this in chunks, I think, because it's difficult to fit them all in. And then from this point on, anything else I paint for the Cursed City, or from the Cursed City box, it'll just be included in normal Getting Stuff Painted with, you know, other miniatures. Been painting a bunch of Batman as well. Got a lot of stuff to be doing, but Cursed City has been taking up a lot of time, hence the clump of miniatures you have here. So let's get started looking at them. So going from left to right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 potential mysterious objectives. They're like points of interest. They're like in Blackstone Fortress, you just had like the numbers 1 to 4, which also acted as enemy spawns. I believe some of these are also relevant for events that can happen, but I don't know for sure because we haven't played the game yet. So this little guy is going to be absolute murder to get in focus. I don't know, maybe not. It's a little like gremlin, gargoyle, demony guy holding a chest. A box of trinkets, perhaps, to use a video game reference. This is Black Templar Black. Oh, for all the bases, so I don't have to repeat myself, let's just get that out of the way nice and quick. All the bases, it is Astral Granite with Agrax Earth Shade over the top, and then a dry brushing of Mornfang Brown on some of them. The ones where it's relevant. For instance, like the zombies, people who would have mud on their bases, or just to add a bit more character to stone. A little bit of a dry brush of Mornfang Brown. Then we have a little zombie rat cat thing. Again, I think it's just a mysterious marker. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't played the game yet. Looking forward to it, but wanted stuff painted first. So again, Black Templar Black, some Skeletal Horde for his visible bones. Agrax Earthshade has done a lot of work here on everything once it's done. Stay in focus. Okay, well, as long as my hand isn't in there. Then we have a little gravestone with some roses. Well, I chose to make them roses. I don't know what the official colour scheme for these are, but I chose to make them roses just using Blood Angels Red, with candles on top, and Nazrag Yellow for the golden bell, or, you know, steel, no not steel, what's the one, bronze, and wood spike on the back. I guess that could be a zombie that hasn't exhumed yet. So then we have 2 crows holding keys on, I don't know, a pillar with vines. Militarum green for the vines there as well. Oh, and the blood for the blood god blood texture paint that Citadel does for the miniatures that have blood here. There is the other crow. There we are. Why are they holding a key? Whose key did they steal? I don't know, but they've stolen keys. And then we have my favourite of the mysterious objectives, which is skeletons that have been hung to death, but they're still alive and pointing. Is that in focus? I believe it is now. With little death warrants on their scaffolding. Gallows, that's the word I was looking for. So again, Skeletal Horde and Wildwood with Agrax Earthshade over the top for this, and this guy's pointing. And again, this is just a mysterious marker, but I love that they're pointing, accusatory pointing. And this one's pointing as well, despite the fact that he's got a sack on his head, so he can't possibly see. Also, given the fact he's a skeleton, but hey, there's necromancy at work, so that's okay. Really like how these turned out as well. The Skeletal Horde with Agrax over the top is a wonderful skeleton shade. And it makes it look much more detailed than it actually is, because it's sunk into all the little recesses. At the back especially as well. That wouldn't look amiss sitting in a science classroom. Well, I guess it would be slightly amiss because of the whole hanging thing. Whatever. So we've got some of the larger lads from the box next. We have 2 of the 3 sibling vampires that are in the box. I can't remember their name. It's not Vaskir, I think, because that's the big werewolf dog thing. But there's 2 of them. The third one is still on the painting table. She's thin enough that this might be a bit difficult to get into focus again unless I do that with my hand. So I just let their skin tone be the grey seer undercoat with Agrax over the top. Her black hair is washed into Blood Angel's red, and just some Leadbelcher silver for her sword as well, and then a red streak across her eyes because she's got the bloodlust. And then the same for her brother here. He was actually the first of these I painted. He's like perched on a pillar, Batman style, with a sword at the ready. And yeah, these, like the 3 siblings together, make up one of the big bads, I think, but because of the way the nature of the game works, you can run into them early. And they just keep getting reborn. So this is, as I kick the camera a little bit, this is one of the 2 giants that come in the box. I've forgotten their name, official name. Tried to match the official paint job as best I could. This is Flesh Terror Red Contrast Black Templar. Agrax over the base coat for the, I don't know what's the word for that type of Mongolian hat, I don't remember. It's going to annoy me. I'll Google it afterwards. And yeah, not much to him. He's, again, contrast takes to it really well with a wash over the top to sink into all the little recesses. It gives it the definition that if you're not a skilled painter, you wouldn't naturally be able to do. And I think that was Plaguebear flesh I used for his skin tone to make him look a bit zombie-like. He's also holding keys. I don't know why. I don't know why at all, but he is. So next is the 4 adventurers that I've chosen for my starting party, and we're starting with the one that I had the most trouble with and was not looking forward to, the little dwarf, because he's so detailed, but so tiny, and refusing to focus. Okay, that seems okay. Can I bring him closer though? Maybe. So yeah, I don't know where to start with him. Nazdrag yellow for all the golden parts. We have some Talisar blue in there as well. That's the thing with Citadel miniatures, they're so detailed, but it makes them so intimidating if you're not good at painting. But yeah, he is my Barden stand-in for the party. He has a grapple harpoon type gun, so he can drag objectives and people in to smash with his axe, which is pretty cool. He's kind of a bruiser as far as I can tell. And then we have my Corellian stand-in, stop me if you get the reference, Wood Elf. I struggled to find her rules for her, she brings a few special arrows to each mission, and I don't remember where in the rulebook I eventually found it, but it is not referenced properly on her card at all, and it really should have been. It feels like an oversight along with a bunch of other oversights the game has, like, well, the errata to the assembly instructions in the unboxing. There's a couple of other errors that they didn't catch in the assembly instructions that if you follow to the letter will mean you do not assemble things correctly. But anyway, this is Militarum green, and the Yandin yellow for her braids. Really nice miniature. Since I don't play Age of Sigmar or anything like that, it's rare that I get to paint like an elven character. Yeah, so that's my Corellian. I guess this is my Kruber stand-in, even though this is a lady. The Knight Captain. She was actually the first hero for the box. Oh, come on. She was the first hero for the box I painted. There we go. Lots of Leadbelcher silver, very little contrast work here, honestly. It's mostly the silver and the washes. A little bit of Guilliman flesh, Wildwood, Ultramarines blue for her cape. And yeah, the dry brushing of the brown on the stone just to give it a bit more character as well. And she's my tank. And then the Saltspire stand-in equivalent, or Vampire Hunter, who is probably my favourite miniature of the heroes just because it looks so cool. And you can tell he's a vampire hunter because of his weapons, like his rifle has a stake launcher in it. He's got stakes on both sides of his cape. He's got a hammer for like smashing them in. He's got a huge sword on his back. He's a little bit glass cannony, I think. Again, I won't know for sure until I've played it, but a cursory glance at his stat card. He gets bonus attacks where he can fire stakes into people. He doesn't seem super tanky, but he seems to have massive damage potential. So no healers or anything like that, but a tank and 3 people who should be really capable of handling themselves. So next, hot off the presses actually, I finished this last night, my first zombie. I don't remember what they're officially called, but it's a zombie. for Cursed City. I'm going to need to finish at least 2 more of these to be able to start playing, because I'm pretty sure the lowest number of cards... Well, no, there might be cards that say 2 actually. But I need at least another one of these painted before I can film any actual Cursed City. But I am hoping that next Thursday should be the inaugural episode of the start of the campaign for Cursed City. Fingers crossed. I would cross my fingers right now, but they're holding a zombie. So that is, for his skin tone, I don't think maybe I did use Plague Bearer Flesh actually. Yeah, I did. I thought I didn't, but I'm looking at it now, I'm pretty sure that is Plague Bearer Flesh with Aggressor Shade over the top. Wildwood for his pants, a dry brushing of Mornfang over all of him because he's been exhumed, so I wanted it to look like he'd come out the dirt. And that's some snakebite leather for the like branches that have grown through him. I really like the design of these. Very neat idea to make fairly unique looking zombies. So then we have some trash mobs that we don't really need to spend too long on. 3 rats, one of which has the rat that makes all the rolls, and then 3 bats, one of which has the big bat that makes all the rolls. Didn't enjoy painting these because of the swarmy nature of them, but it's a mixture of wildwood, snakebite leather. Oh, this is the one with the large rat who makes all the rolls. They count as champions for the purposes of hunting missions in the game. The big bat, big rat and big bat. So there is a reason to want to encounter them, but for the most part you don't really want to, because I think they inflict diseases or poisons. The rats do, anyway. This is Vulpus Pink for their tails as well, which I forgot to mention. And then 3 bat swarms. Just occurred to me, if I need more of these, I've got like a bunch of bat swarms from Gotham City Chronicles, because one of the expansions came with like Batcave themed stuff for Batman, and one of them was a bunch of bases just filled with bats that I painted already. So I might do that if I need to. This is the big bat, the big blood sucker one, and it's Black Templar with a wash over top with a little bit of red light up. I'm not going to pretend that this is anything fancy at all. It was nice and quick, these ones, and a little bit of dry brushing on the stone to give it definition with the Mornfang brown that I've mentioned already as well. And there's I kind of like how the candle came out on that one. I think that was the first one I did. And then after that we have 3 of the Orphan Watch, which are like the skeletal undead guards, and then we have 3 of the special guys to end on. 3 of the 5 you need to do. Although, again, I think we can kind of get around it. Same colour scheme for all of these guys, so it's Black Templar for their armour, Blood Angels red for their... it's not capes. I don't know what that would be. Oh, it kind of is. It starts as a cape around here, but then it... I don't know if that counts as a cape when it comes down at the front as well. Nazrag yellow for their shield. The interior and like spears and whatnot are done in snakebite leather. The one with the banner, who we'll look at in a second, he's one of the special ones, and then there's also a sergeant. I don't know which one the sergeant is. I may not have done him yet, but I know you're supposed to have the standard bearer and the sergeant every time they can spawn, assuming they aren't on the table already, because they give buffs to enemies. And it's kind of the equivalent of in Blackstone Fortress, the traitor guardsman always had to have like a sergeant and a grenade guy, and a flamer guy, just to make your life more difficult. And then, oh wait, no, I already looked at them, didn't I? That was all 3, so yeah. Lots more of them to go. I think the box comes with like 10 Orphan Watch or something like that, so there's a lot of little skeleton guys to go. But in terms of bare minimums, again, hopefully that's enough so far, or maybe just a couple more. They're not that bad to paint, they're pretty quick. It's just the ones with like super detail, like the heroes, they're a little annoying. And the big guys, who we can go into now. So we have Gorslav the Gravekeeper, I believe his name is. Sounds like the name of kind of like an NPC you'd run into in Shadow of War or something. I love that he's exhuming, he's in the process of exhuming a corpse, or a zombie I guess, because it's got the tree branches and whatnot coming out his eyes. He's great. Just finished painting him yesterday. Made him look a little bit muddy on the shovel and the base as well, because again his whole shtick is exhuming corpses, and I believe within the game itself he can also bury you and slowly like Kill Bill to you. So you've got to watch out for that. His skin, I did not use Plague Bearer Flesh because he is, I believe he's like semi-alive or something, so that is just Aggressor Shade over the Grey Seer base, and I think it sets him apart a little bit from the zombies on purpose. so that's why I did that. Then we have the captain of the guard who turned traitor. I don't remember his name. I can remember Gorslav, but for whatever reason this guy's name hasn't stuck yet. Basically the same concept as the Orphan watch we just went over, except he has much more black on his armour to make him stand out as the boss. And he provides a bunch of buffs to them as well. Pretty neat. And yeah, I don't have anything else to say about him, but I am happy with how that one came out. If you ever do start just using contrast paint for this type of things and you get to the end of like applying all the contrast paint and you're like, that doesn't look right, do a wash. Washes hide all sins. Washes help blend the contrast paint, they get into all the little nooks and crannies, and it adds the extra little bit of definition that gets the job done. So finally then we have, I think he's called the Vaskir, Valsir, something like that. He appears to be some kind of gigantic werewolf dog / bat. He would not look amiss as like, well, other than having a wolfish tail, he wouldn't look amiss as kind of like a man-bat from Batman. So this is a blend of Guilliman flesh, Agate shade again, obviously, snakebite leather, yes, actually, snakebite leather on his fur, blood for the blood god for all that lovely gore on his hands and in his mouth, and a little bit of Vulpus pink on his legs and his fingers underneath that blood, because the official colour scheme had those being a little bit pink. But I steered a little bit away from the official paint job just because I wasn't sure how to do it. So I settled on this, and I feel like it turned out okay. I'm kind of happy. He's a large lad, and he is ready to eat some adventures. So that is going to do it. As I say, this is like 25 out of 60, so it's nowhere near done. But it's hopefully enough to at least start adventures, and hopefully, again, you'll be able to see the first expedition, which I think has to be a hunt, on next Thursday, all going well. And from this point on, any other stuff I paint for Cursed City will just be included in normal getting stuff painted with other miniatures and whatnot. But this was like really focusing to try and get a lot of it done as fast as possible. So yeah, as always, if you're painting up stuff for Cursed City or anything else, feel free to tag me on Twitter and show me at GamerEND. I like seeing them. And with that, I shall bid you adieu and say until next time, ta-ta for now.